Imagine a garden, still air, a summer afternoon. An apple falls from a tree. It falls the way apples always fall, down, quietly, without warning. No one in history had ever stopped to ask why. Isaac Newton had no lab, no telescope, no university around him, just a garden, just a falling apple. So why did that one quiet moment change the way every human being on Earth understood the universe? Hello, and welcome. Relax, and let's begin. Today, we follow the story of Isaac Newton, a man born too small to survive, who grew up to explain how the entire universe moves. Let's explore together. It was 1642 in Woolsthorpe, a quiet village in the English countryside, where the roads were made of mud and the nights were dark and still. The world had no electric light, no machines, no answers. People looked up at the sky and wondered. They had always wondered. Into this world, Isaac Newton was born. He was so small at birth that his mother later said he could fit inside a large drinking cup. His father had already died. He came into the world quietly, like a whisper, and yet something in him was already listening. When Isaac was 3, his mother left to marry another man. He stayed behind, raised by his grandmother. He grew up lonely, quiet, different. While other children played and shouted outside, Isaac sat in corners and built things with his hands. Windmills, paper kites. He studied how shadows moved, how water flowed. He was not watching the world the way other children did. He was asking it questions. Solitude. Solitude means being alone, without the company of others. For most people, solitude feels like something missing. For Isaac, solitude was where his mind came alive, and there was something almost no one knew about young Isaac. His teachers did not notice him at first. He was too quiet, too still, just another boy in the back of the room. But the universe had already chosen him. But a terrible illness sweeping across England was about to change everything. In 1661, Isaac arrived at Cambridge University. For the first time in his life, he felt he belonged somewhere. Mathematics, astronomy, the movement of planets. It was a world made for his kind of mind. And then the Great Plague came. It swept through England like fire. Cities emptied, universities closed. Isaac was sent home back to Woolsthorpe, back to the quiet countryside he had grown up in. For most students, this felt like an interruption. A door suddenly closed. For Isaac, it was something else entirely. He had no professors, no classrooms, no one to tell him what to think. He had only his own mind and the world around him. And in that deep, patient solitude, he began to think more carefully than he had ever thought before. He studied light through a glass prism and discovered that white light is not one color. It is all the colors hidden inside, waiting to be separated. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet. He invented a new kind of mathematics. Today, we call it calculus. And then the apple. But here is what most people don't know. Isaac did not discover gravity because he was a genius who happened to be sitting in a garden. He discovered it because he had spent 2 silent years training his mind to ask the right questions. The apple did not teach him anything new. It simply fell on a mind that was already ready. He watched the apple fall, and instead of moving on, he stopped. Why does it fall down? Why not sideways? Why not up? If something pulls the apple toward Earth, does it also pull the moon? And what he found, no one in human history had ever found before. And then everything changed. In 1687, after years of quiet, patient work, Isaac Newton published a book. He called it the Principia. Inside it were 3 laws of motion and the theory of universal gravity. Gravity. Gravity is the invisible force that pulls all objects toward each other. It is what keeps your feet on the ground. It is what keeps the moon circling the Earth. It is what keeps the Earth moving around the Sunday. For the first time in human history, the universe was not a mystery. It was a system. A beautiful, ordered system. And one man had described it. Today, because of Isaac Newton, we can launch satellites into space, predict the path of comets, and send human beings to the moon. Every rocket, every GPS, every telescope pointed at the stars carries his equations inside it. He once wrote, "If I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants." He knew he had not done it alone. He was part of a long, slow, quiet journey. And perhaps your journey is no different. Every time you hear a new word and feel it begin to make sense, you are building something. Slowly, quietly, beautifully. Isaac Newton began with nothing. No father, no money, no great university behind him. He spent 2 years completely alone, far from the world. But he never stopped asking. Newton's story teaches us that the greatest discoveries begin not with genius, but with one quiet, patient question. Keep going. Keep learning. Every question you ask is one step closer to the answer. Your story is still being written. If this story moved you, tell me in the comments, what is the one question you are afraid to ask? Now look up, just for one moment. Away from your screen, away from your phone. Look up the way Newton looked up, at that apple falling. And ask yourself one question. What have I been watching fall, without ever asking why? That question is yours now. Carry it.